Hello and welcome. My name is Becky Schilling. I'm the editor-in-chief of Food Management, and we are doing a video interview chat today with Damian Monticello. He is the Senior Manager, Corporate Hospitality Services for Florida Blue, based in Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome, Damian. How are you?
Doing well, Becky. Thank you.
And I know that everything is crazy right now, but how are you guys doing just kind of in general?
You know, it's definitely a different work experience than what we're used to. Typically here at our headquarters, there are around 7,000 people on site on a given day. We are down to about 350 right now.
Wow.
So definitely a different feeling when you arrive on campus than a typical day.
Yeah. And how long have you guys been doing the lowered people, the work from home there?
We started transitioning people to work from home around May 15th, and we were done with that transition pretty quickly by around, not May 15th, March 15th. And we were done around March 20th.
Okay. And that feels like years ago, but it was just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was definitely very fast and furious as we were trying to transition people out. And with that came a lot of questions with regard to our food program and how we were going to operate during this crisis.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to talk with you today, because you guys run a food service program that feeds employees when they're at work, and when employees aren't at work, it definitely impacts your ability to do that. So you've really found a creative way to keep your employees working and also serve the community at the same time. Can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. So as we were going through this transition, myself and my team, we were having conversations with leadership about what did this mean for the food service program and what were we actually going to be able to do. We are a contracted program, so we do not self-operate. We contract with Flik Hospitality Group to provide all of our cafe services, and they have about 40 employees here in Jacksonville. So what we were going to be able to do for that staff was really what was up in the air. So as these conversations were going on, our market president for this portion of the state, Darnell Smith, was having conversations out in the community to see what type of immediate needs were in that area. Our company had actually committed $2 million as an investment statewide to help with some of the immediate issues. And through that, Darnell was starting to reach out to agencies to see who needed help. And lo and behold came Feeding Northeast Florida. Feeding Northeast Florida is an agency that usually serves about 16 million meals a year to residents in our 7 surrounding counties that make up the Northeast Florida region. And as they were quickly finding out their traditional food donation channels were starting to dry up. A lot of it usually comes to them from grocery stores, and those same empty shelves that we all see meant empty trucks for them. So part of that investment we had allowed Feeding Northeast Florida to be able to purchase some ingredients and purchase some supplies. But then as local farms started stepping in and filling some of the gaps because they now didn't have the restaurants to sell to, all of a sudden Feeding Northeast Florida now had a surplus of food and didn't necessarily have a means by which to turn that food into meals. And so the question was asked, well, do you guys have large scale commercial kitchens? Is there a possibility we might be able to do something there? So Darnell came and asked me if that was something we could do, and we immediately jumped at it and said, absolutely, because feeding large amounts of people on a daily basis is what we do. So we knew we were going to be able to use the equipment and the facilities that we had in place and our staff potentially to be able to make these meals. So that was communicated to our senior leadership about what it was we wanted to do, and they were very enthusiastic and told us to go ahead and make that happen. So over the course of about a day and a half, we were able to put together a program where Feeding Northeast Florida now delivers food to us twice a week. And that food that they're bringing, we are converting into about 2,000 meals a day.
Wow.
That we're then packaging up into individual meals and chilling down and feeding Northeast Florida that comes out every Monday through Friday picks those up and is distributing those out to the agencies that they serve that are most in need.
That's awesome, and it's such a great community need, but it also food service people love to help people and love to be a part of the community. So that's a really awesome service you guys are providing.
Yeah, that was actually the statement I made to the folks at Feeding Northeast Florida was, this is why we are in hospitality and this is what hospitality does. We take care of people. So for us to be able to have the opportunity to do that was fantastic, and to be able to keep the entire Flik staff that we have, in addition to about 70 or so other employees from other local restaurants who are partnering with Feeding Northeast Florida in a similar fashion. It's been really starting to take hold in the Jacksonville area, and it's starting to expand pretty rapidly. So the local restaurants are taking care of some smaller production scales because their kitchens aren't necessarily as large as ours are, and then we're taking care of the large scale needs.
That's awesome. And I mean, I know you said this came together over about a day and a half, but if you had some advice to share with other operators who were looking to do something like this, what would you suggest for them?
Yeah, Feeding Northeast Florida is part of a large organization, Feeding America. So there are chapters all throughout the United States, and I'm sure the majority of them are in the same situation that we found to be true here in the Northeast Florida area. So a lot of these agencies need help. They don't always know where to look. And for those of us that are larger scale clients like we are, that are in a position to be able to provide this type of assistance, I would say don't wait on them to come to you. Try to seek them out. Yeah, it may not always be a Feeding Northeast Florida. It might be the local school system. It might be that's having issues getting meals produced for students. It might be a hospital system that needs assistance with getting meals for staff because they're running through some of these similar situations. But the opportunities are out there, and it's really times like this that I think really they really let you as a company set in stone what it is your value proposition is when it comes to corporate and social responsibility. And we have a very simple mission statement here at Florida Blue. It's helping people and communities achieve better health. And we're able to do that not only through the nutritious meals we're providing and the way that helps address food insecurity, but it's doing our own part towards the health of the food service and hospitality industry as well.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And I know you're the president-elect for SHFM, so I'm sure that you're in constant contact with a lot of your operators. What are you hearing from them? What are some of the things that they're trying to do to manage through this situation?
The operators are really trying to come together and find creative ways to partner with us and do different things. We were fortunate that we were in a position that our company said, this is something that speaks to us as an organization and meets our mission, vision, and values. So we are actually the ones who are funding and covering the cost of the labor to produce those meals. That's not always the case for some of the contract food service management companies with all of their clients. So they are struggling with trying to figure out how do they keep people employed. So it's really more of a message to my fellow client peers to challenge them to become engaged and step up and do what they can where they can. They don't necessarily have to do something on the scale of a couple thousand meals a day, but any one of those employees from an Aramark, a Sodexo, a Compass group that we're able to keep employed is one less of the estimated 7 million of us that are being displaced as we go through this issue.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. During trying times like this, it's amazing to see even big, small, how hospitality is coming together to help people in the community. So thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for the time today. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much, Damien.
Thank you, Becky. My pleasure.